Hello, hello. Algebra 1, assignment 9. Here we go. Today what we are doing is deriving slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, from either a graph or two coordinates. Both take a little bit of work, but it's very satisfying when it finishes. So that's what we are doing today. Morning, Lily. I'll just give my intro. Just so you don't have to wait till it's on YouTube. What we're going to be doing today is writing slope-intercept form equations when we're given a graph or two coordinates. And then we'll get questions 1, 2, and 3. So I'll go ahead and put that on the board in my timer. So we already just said I'll put it on the board. I said that instinctively, even though there's no board. So we'll give all the other students about 6 minutes to climb on in and join us. But if they can't, it'll always be posted on YouTube after. Those of you in chat, I just posted the actual answer document for assignment 9. You might want to pull that up. It's very blankety blank, but still, we'll talk about it. Morning, Cole. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, I got 3.5 minutes to go check on my little ones. So get your paper and pencil ready, and I'll be right back. Well, apparently my timer started over or something, so I guess we're just gonna go and get it rolling. Hope that siren didn't bother everybody. Okay, what are we doing today? Well, first, I need to make a little public service announcement. Okay. Everyone in Algebra 1, 6th period, listen to me. I don't care what lesson I've got for you. I don't care what teacher you have. You need to know how to type a fraction in a word processor. So we're just going to have a little quick mini lesson on how that works. A word processor is just software you use to type. Okay, so this has nothing explicitly to do with the lesson, but y'all need to know how to do this. So let's say you had to type 3/4. I have seen a bunch of different weird ways to do that I didn't prescribe, but people do it anyway. So here are some of the things I've seen from you guys. What else? 3, 4. I mean, I've seen a lot of just a lot of no-nos. Like none of these are prescribed. Nope, no. The only way you should be typing a fraction is with a front slash. That is the only prescribed way to do that. Okay, so just in case you were unsure of how to type a fraction, that's how it should be typed, using a front slash. No other punctuation necessary or wanted. Okay, that being sorry. That being said, let's go ahead and talk about today's lesson. Okay, so slope intercept form is what we're going to be using for the remainder of this lesson. So y equals mx plus b. Just a quick little refresher on what this is. M is our slope. So on a graph, that would be the change in y over the change in x. B is our y-intercept. And the y-intercept is where it's the y value when x is equal to 0. So basically, if you're looking at the graph, it'll be somewhere on the y-axis. It might be below the origin, above the origin, but it'll be somewhere on the y-axis. And then I guess I should just go ahead and say that y and x, once you have your answer, you'll just literally have y and x in the answer. But those can be any two xy pairs that are a part of the function. Yeah, so any xy pair that's a part of the function, okay? So let's start by finding our y-intercept form from a graph. Chat, please stop me at any point that you need more of an explanation. Okay. Let's check this one. Let me go ahead and put some disclaimers on the screen so no one is confused. We are not to the actual questions yet. Okay, so here's a picture of a graph of a linear function, and we have to write it in slope-intercept form. So there's really two things we need to discover: the slope and where it connects to the y-axis. So you might notice where this blue line goes directly through coordinate pairs. And I'm highlighting them with pink dots in case you're having a hard time squinting and seeing them. Not that one, though. Okay, there we go. So we can use these to find the slope, but there's one very important one that just gives us part of our equation. You see, here's the y-axis. Is this vertical one going up and down? And right here, you'll notice we have the coordinate 0, 3. Well, that's our y-intercept, which means that right here, the answer to this part is 3. That's what B is. That's the y-intercept. So now the only other thing we need to figure out for this particular function is the slope. That's m. M is the change in y over the change in x. That's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, otherwise known as the rise over the run. Now, since we actually have a picture, we don't have to do this calculation. We can just count it. So pick any two of these pink points, any two. It does not matter. So if I wanted to go from here to here, that'd work just fine. I have to go up, and I have to go over to get there. So that's up 1 square, 2 squares, 3 squares, 4 squares, 5 squares, 6 squares. So that means the rise is 6. That's the change in y. And the run, that's 1 square, 2 squares, is 2. So if it goes up 6 and over 2, that's just a fraction. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. So my slope is 3. They're both, that's funny. They both turn out to be 3. So it goes up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1, and so on. So my equation would literally be y equals 3x plus 3. Like that would be an answer. If this was one of your assignment questions, that would be your answer. Y equals 3x plus 3. Okay, let's try another one. Not letting me zoom in very much on that one. Anyway, so we need to find the y-intercept, and we need to find the slope. Just to make it a little bit easier to see, I'm going to put some pink dots where this blue line crisscrosses over coordinate pairs. Okay, there's that. Okay, so First thing I notice is that right here is our y-intercept. And that's at 0, -6. Therefore, the -6 is what goes into the B slot. So the -6 goes here. And now we need to count the slope. Now this slope is going down. You always want to be going left to right when you're calculating slope from a graph. So this is going, like, let's say I wanted to go from here to here. That means I go down 1 and over. Let's see, down 1 squared to -1, 1 squared, 2 squares, 3 squares, 4 squares. So it looks like I go over 4. Check it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. So apparently my slope, the change in y over the change in x, is a -1 force situation. So there's a few different ways you can type this for credit. So I would accept y equals -1 force. You probably want to nest this in parentheses. -1 force x. You can say plus a -6. I would accept that. I would accept y equals -1x over 4 plus a -6, because if you multiply the fraction times x, you put it in the numerator. I guess I would accept y equals -1 force times x minus 6. That's the same thing. Y equals -1x force minus 6. Those would all be acceptable answers. They're all right. Is there any other way to write that? I don't think so. No, I think that's about right. I don't like, I really don't like y equals -1 force x minus 6. I don't like that, because this makes it look like x is in the denominator. Let's just put a big no in front of that. This looks like it's negative. And that is not right. What is correct, see, when you do it this way, this is -1x over 4, and that's right. That is the correct way to do it. So don't do it that way. So just put your slope in parentheses when in doubt, and everything will be all right. So that's how you calculate. That's how you write a slope-intercept equation from a graph. Okay. Chat, any questions so far? How to write slope-intercept from a graph? We can just go ahead and do one more. But right now, chat is super quiet, so I'm not really sure anyone has any questions. So either everyone's getting it perfectly, awesome, or they're AFK, doing something else, and can I watch it on the replay? That's a really good question. How do you know the spacing between the dots? I literally count them, and I count the squares. I count the units. So if I was here, let me pull up a different one. I'll do my best to zoom in on this next one. What did we say that was? It was -1 force. Say -6, I think. It's weird when I, let me see. All right, I'm not going to get the whole graph, but I'm going to have everything you need. to solve the problem. So don't panic because you don't see the entire graph. And I had to move my chat window. Okay, like I said, don't panic just because you can't see the entire graph. Okay, question was, how do I count? How do I know the spacing between the dots? Okay, so what I'm looking for at this graph, I'm looking for the places where the blue line is going directly through a coordinate pair. That is where the gray lines crisscross. And what I do with my little marker here is I've been putting little pink dots on top. So like right here, at this point, right here at what is 2, 1, I can see that I can put a pink dot right here because the blue line meets up the perfect gray crisscross. Then I'm just going to look for the next one. It looks like there's one here at 1, 4. Where the blue line and the gray lines all meet in the same place. And then it does again here at 0, 7. And then again here at -1, what appears to be -1, 10. So now, when we're talking about counting, I pick any 2 dots. It does not matter which ones. I just need to pick 2. And I'm going to draw a line straight down and straight. Well, in this case, I'll be going down, straight out, straight down, and straight over. And you'll notice this is a pattern that repeats. Now, when I'm trying to count those spaces, I need to be counting in units. And that is every unit is the side of a square on this grid. So I'm counting squares. It goes down 1, down 2, down 3. So that's a -3. And it only goes over 1. So the change in y, the rise is -3 because it's actually going down. And then change in x, the run, it's only going 1 over. So we just make that a fraction. So that's the slope. Oh, and anything over 1 is equal to itself. So the slope is just -3. In this case, our y-intercept, let me get a different color. You'll notice that one of these dots right here is actually on the y-axis at 0, 7. So that 7 is our y-intercept. In the equation, letter B, that is the y value of the y-intercept. So if you had to type out this equation, the way you'd probably want to do it would be y equals -3x plus 7. I mean, I guess you could use parentheses and say y equals parentheses -3 parentheses x plus 7, but they're both appropriate. I think either one of those would have been fine. Please remember to attach a picture of your scrapbook this week. Last week there was a little bit of an issue with plagiarism, so this week I figured the easiest way to solve that is have everyone submit a picture of their scrapbook. So you just take a picture with your device and put it in your Google Drive and then attach it to your assignment when you hit turn in. Okay, so that is getting, yay, finished. So that is getting slope intercept form from a graph. Should I just make that the assignment for today? I was gonna mix and match it, but maybe it'd be easier. Maybe if it was just cleaner, just do 3 of those. Yeah, you know what? I think that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna change it up and do that. So the thing we just did, that's going to be your assignment. Yep, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to put this graph on the screen, and this will be problem number 1 for assignment 9. And then those of you that are here in chat can ask you some questions just to make sure you understand what exactly you're supposed to be doing. Okay, here we go. So here is question 1. If you want to look at your answer document and check and make sure you completely understand what you're being asked to do, chat, you can ask me now for clarification if it's confusing or, whatever. I'll even be a gentleman here, and I'll put some dots on the screen just to make sure no one's squinting or trying to zoom in and it's just too difficult. So that's basically what you're looking to do right there, is you're going to write the equation y equals mx plus b, but you have to determine what these two things are. Like, you've got to fill in the slope and you have to fill in the y-intercept. So if you're seeing this on the replay, you'll be able to pause now and work this out. If you're doing this live and I move on to the next question before you have time to finish, I apologize, but it will be on YouTube shortly after I'm done recording. Chat, I'm going to give you another second. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get us another one. And this will be question 2. Taking a screenshot. Boom. All right, so there's question 2. And I will go ahead and I'll put some dots on there for those of you having problems seeing them. There you go. Remember, for answer 2, you got to type out the equation y equals mx plus b, but you have to determine what the m and the b are supposed to be, and then put them into the equation yourself. And chat, if you don't have your answer, but I move on to the next question, I sincerely apologize, but it will be on YouTube in just a few minutes in case you need to go watch the replay. Here comes question 3. Here comes some dots to make it a little bit easier to see. Now, as far as your credit goes, I understand for this particular set of problems, you won't have much scrap work because so much of it is just all mental. I understand that. We will be having, you will have scrap work when we start doing the slope intercept form from 2 points because there's just work to be done. So for question 3, just like for questions 1 and 2, you're going to figure out the slope by doing rise over run counting. And then you're going to check and see where the slope intercept is, the y-intercept is, and then use them both correctly and write out your equation where your written answer will be y equals mx plus b. And you have to put the numbers in the right place, obviously. But remember that the slope goes in front of the x and the y value of the y-intercept is at the end. If you have any questions, please email me. Try to join us on Zoom Live, guys, if you're watching this on the replay. Usually Monday through Thursday, it's at 11:30. It takes an hour or less, and then your assignments are at the end of the streams. I hope everyone's keeping their families safe and taking this quarantine very seriously. Make sure that's right. Make sure to make your beds the bed that I've got behind me here, it is made. It's got a lot of clothes I need to fold on top of it, but it is made underneath, which is what's important. Keep your ear to the ground for news about social distancing and plans to reopen the state eventually. I think Alabama is sort of in transition where they're doing partial opens, but I really hope everyone's doing okay. Not everyone is as lucky as others. If your parents are sort of if your parents are in a weird spot where they're short with you or they're just not themselves, please understand that this situation is unprecedented in my lifetime and many people's lifetimes. We have never gone through anything like this. And these are more stressful times than maybe ever for some people. If there's anything I can do from my chair here, just let me know. Send me an email, send me a screenshot, send me a question, something. I'll just keep doing what I can do to help. I hope you guys do the same. So take care of yourselves, take care of your family, and I'll talk to you guys next time.